Welcome back for another video. So this video is going to be a little different than my typical videos. A little while back, my mother gave a Zoom presentation on sprouts and microgreens. So this video is pretty much going to be that presentation.
Okay, my name is Vanda. I'm originally from South Africa. And we have a little backyard. I call it, we have a wannabe farm. So, and we are into natural gardening and animals and stuff. So this presentation is about sprouting. And I hope to encourage those who doesn't know anything about it, to encourage them to start it. And those who've, who's done it before, maybe you get some tips, to help you along the way. So when people talk about sprouting, there's actually two different methods. One is sprouts, which is grown from seeds and water, and another one is called microgreens. They fall both in the same category as sprouting. So let me start with what are microgreens? They are seeds that has germinated and grown into young shoots. They are grown in soil or cocoa coir, or even in the grow mat. I'll explain later on. So you can have soil. Some can be grown without soil on a grow mat, but mostly microgreens are grown in soil, in a medium. Then we have the sprouts that is grown in water. Okay, let me go back to the microgreens. Look at my notes. So the microgreens, when you grow them, it takes about from 1 to 3 weeks before you can eat them. You need some light. You don't need a lot of light. In winter you can the fun thing about sprouts and microgreens is that you can basically grow it anywhere, anytime, any season. You can take it to a place where they don't have fresh fruits and vegetables. You take the seeds with you, and then you can grow it there. Then you have fresh fruits and fresh sprouts. Okay, so sprouts. So this is microgreens that's grown in the soil, and then the sprouts are seeds that start to grow but have no leaves. So the sprouts that you grow in water, you eat everything, and the microgreens that you grow in the soil, of course you just cut it and you eat the top. Okay, let's see. The sprouts can take, within 3 days you can eat sprouts that's grown in water. So when I talk about sprouts, I mean the ones in water. Otherwise, I will talk about, when I say microgreens, it's the ones who's grown in the soil. The sprouts, they don't really need light. Actually, some seeds that you grow, that you sprout, you need to sprout in the dark. Otherwise, it gets bitter, like mung beans. When you want to sprout mung beans, you actually have to put it in a dark closet, or they call it blackout. You put a paper around the sprout container, and within 3 days, 4 days, you have mung beans. So the difference between microgreens and sprouts, they're grown differently, they taste different. So the sprouts is crunchy, and the microgreens is like mini greens. So the end result is a little bit different. And which one you grow depends on what you like. So if someone has never tried this before, I would say experiment with all different seeds, experiment with the different methods, so you find out what you like. There is, for example, broccoli seeds. You can sprout it in water. Where is it? Okay. You can sprout it in water, and then it looks like, oh, can you see that close enough? So then it looks like this. Or you grow it as a microgreen and it looks like this. This one, you have to rinse it, you have to rinse the hulls. You need to rinse the hulls off. Looks appetizing, you know, if you have it all with the little seed hulls mixed in with the greens. And this hulls over here stays behind in the soil. Like when the seed pops up, the hull is automatically, it's, you know, goes to the bottom, or you kind of wave your hand over it and the hull falls off. So the easiest way for us, we love the microgreen broccoli sprouts. Why would we grow sprouts? I think the biggest reason is that the nutrients from the sprouts are highly superior than the mature plant. So they say that, for example, broccoli sprouts, I don't know the percentage, but it's something like 40 to 100 times healthier, more nutritious than the mature broccoli plant. And it kind of makes sense because the small microgreens, all the nutrients are concentrated in the sprouts. So another reason why we sprout seeds, because there's anti-nutrients in the seeds. So even in lentils or you know, any beans, legumes, there's anti-nutrients in it. And therefore, when people just eat it straight, or even when you just cook it without soaking or sprouting, it's more difficult for the body to digest the food, the seed. So by sprouting it, it makes it more bioavailable for your gut. Okay, let's see here. Then also, which is interesting, is lentils have protein, but when you sprout it, it becomes a complete protein. So it just shows that it's more nutritious. Another reason why you want to sprout is a half a cup of lentils becomes 4 cups when it's sprouted. So that's quite a big difference. If you have chickens, then that's an ideal food also to sprout different seeds, because it makes it a bigger amount and more economical. The other reason why one might want to sprout, and that's what I do, why I like it to sprout, especially in winter, if you don't want to go outside and do your winter gardening, then this is ideal because you can do it indoors. You don't need to do it outdoors. You don't need to go to the store all the time. You can make your own fresh greens, and not 2 or 3 months time, in 7 to 10 days time. So it's amazing. It's really an amazing gift that we can do this. The other thing is it's cheaper than in stores. You can buy sprouts in the store. If you have your seeds and you sprout it yourself, it's so much more cheaper. So then also it's chemical free. To come back to mung beans, when you see the mung beans in the Safe Bay or the Asian stores, often actually they look very big and plump, but it's because there is some chemical, something that they put on it when they grow it. And I was shocked when I heard that. I thought, you know, sprouts is like, that's the least amount they you know, you don't put anything on there. But with mung beans, they do that. Okay. Oh, and also rabbits can eat. If you have, if you sprout wheatgrass, then if you have rabbits, that's good for them. Okay, so let's go into the method, I guess, how to, Gabriela, are you okay? You're standing there. Okay, how to sprout the jar method, okay? So you have your seeds, you put it in like a mason jar. Depending on what kind of seeds it is, you kind of have to experiment. You can look it up online, but you're going to get to know how much you need. So the sprouts in here, it's not done yet, but that was two tablespoons of broccoli seeds. So what you do is, whether it's broccoli seeds or garbanzo beans or lentils, here, lentils. So I sprouted here to show you how it looks. It's all different containers, different methods. Whatever beans or seeds you use, the method is the same, whereas you soak it overnight. You can use different containers. You need to be able to drain it. So you soak it overnight, and then the next morning you drain it. And then for the next 3 days, you drain it about 2 or 3 times a day. The issue is in the summer, because it's warmer, you should not let the seeds get dry out, because as soon as you let it dry out, it's not going to sprout anymore. So it has to be kept wet, but not soaked in water, just rinsed out. You can use different containers. So, you know, most people have lentils at home. So if you want to start up, you know, anyone can start it without anything. You just need the lentils. So if you have like a, what do you call that? Colander, a sieve. You can see what this is. Okay, a sifter. If you have something like this, you can, first you soak your lentils overnight. Then you can put it in one of these. You drain the water out. You put it in a little container like that. And that's how you can keep it. You just rinse it, very easy, under the tap. You rinse it 2 or 3 times a day. Let it drain like that. And within 3 days' time, you can eat this. Actually, it's already ready. And it's so good. I wish you can taste them.
So those are dried up garbanzo beans?
It's dried up garbanzo beans, which you soak overnight. You saw it? Can you see it's already sprout, you know, you can see the sprout. And that's enough. You can eat it like that. So garbanzo beans is very easy. You don't need to, there's no hulls like the broccoli that you need to rinse off. It's very, very easy, very convenient. If you have a bigger, you want to do a bigger amount, get a bigger colander. That's what it is, colander. Or even something like this. So you can go big if you have a lot of people going. You just need a container. You know, that's how you're going to do that. You can also buy different, you know, okay, here. You can buy this on Amazon. You have a mason jar, and you buy this lid, a stainless steel. It has a little stand there. So when you drain it, it's easy, you know, it comes together with this. You put it like that, it can drain like that. Yeah. Okay. And then here's a bigger container, so if want to make a bigger amount, also with the same kind of. Okay. Now I need to drink something. Okay. Let's see. Okay.
So are you saying that you rinse and drain both 2 or 3 times a day? You drain and then rinse and then drain?
Yes, you have. It has to. It can't stand in. It can't after it soaks overnight in water. You cover it with water. It soaks overnight. After that, you should not. It should not stand in the water anymore. So you rinse it. You put the water in. Put this under the tap. Fill it up with water. Swish it around, and then you tip it over. You rinse the water out. So then it's gonna stand like this. So the water, it drains. And you do that 2 or 3 times during the day. And within about 3 days' time, you can eat the sprouts. So that's the fastest way of growing, fresh vegetables. It's just amazing. and healthier than, it also, even if you cook beans, you can soak it overnight. You don't have to sprout it. Just by soaking it overnight and then cooking the beans, it makes it more bioavailable, makes it more nutritious. So that's, you don't only need to soak it, but if you want the fresh veggies, then you can, sprout it. Okay, so if you sprouted more than what you can eat after it's done, to store it, you can lay it out on a tray, let it dry for an hour, and then you put it in a container in the refrigerator. But then you kind of put paper towel at the bottom and the top, because you don't really want it to get too wet. If it stays wet and you put it in the refrigerator, it can become, mushy, moldy, or so. You always have to, if you store it, when you take it out, you always check how does it look, how does it smell, and the smell is a very good indication. You can't keep it so long in the refrigerator. I would say like 3 days the most. It also depends which kind of beans it is, or seeds. Yeah. Okay, what else? I think that's about it with sprouting in water.
How do you know when they're done?
When they're ready,
Uh-huh.
you're going to see. It takes about, so you wait for a little tail like that to come to sprout.
That small?
Yeah, that's small. And this is a garbanzo bean, so this is bigger.
Different for
The other one, okay, this is the lentils. I'll take this out now, bye. So this is a smaller seed, and that's ready to eat now. And that has been 3 days. So if you wait too long, if you go longer than 3 days, it can become bitter, and there's not how can I say, there's no more nutrients left to continue growing. So therefore, if you want, you can actually plant this now, then you get nutrients from the soil. Yeah. So there's lots of things you can use the sprouts with. You can put it in an omelette, put it on top of soup, use it as a garnish. You can even make dehydrated crackers with it. So you can look that up. There's quite a few. Also, you can put it in smoothies. Actually, people buy protein powder to make smoothies. Lentils, for example, it can be the protein instead of the powder, you can use that. But of course, it takes a long time. You have to prepare it, and so not everyone wants to do that. Like, I want the powder, you know. So, but it's a similar. That's where you can get your protein from. So if you sprouted something, you have too much left over. You can freeze it if you don't want to waste it, and you're not going to eat it at all at once. And you can freeze it, and that you can use for smoothies. But you can't defrost it, because then it's going to be mushy and not so appetizing. So, okay. Okay, so any question about, I'm going to explain about the microgreens, but any question about the sprouting in the water? I think that's...
I've seen people do that on plates and using napkins. Having paper napkins or wet paper napkins on the bottom plate. Is that microgreens, or because they don't use dirt? Oh, wait a minute. I will have to look at the video again. Probably it was dirt.
Yeah, you might have seen something like this. So I'm going to explain about that when I do the microgreens. I don't know whether you know, I've never heard that you can do it on paper.
Well, there's videos on YouTube that talk about microgreens. I mean, I didn't know the difference between microgreens
And sprouts.
I know. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, you know, you can even sprout, the name sprout. You can even take cuttings from plants, like we were talking about rosemary. You could take a rosemary cutting, put it in the water, and it gets roots, and that is also called sprouting. So the word sprout is like used for different, you know, methods and stuff. So, okay. So let me explain about, oh, just a minute. So I wanted to show you this. Even if you have, this is all homemade things, how to sprout if you don't have a container, or you don't want to buy the lid. You can take 2 containers that goes into each other. You know, even 2, you know, Dixie cups, or you make holes at the bottom. And there you have your own sprouter. So you would first of all soak the beans or seeds in one container. In the morning, because there's holes in there, you throw it in there, you rinse it under the water, you let it drip, you put it in here so this catches the water, and then you start growing your sprouts. So if you have lentils at home, any beans at home, you can do this. Or any other container. This is mushroom container from Costco. I did that before. Put holes in the bottom. Okay, so let's go to microgreens. So with microgreens, you need soil. Okay, just a minute. So you can use potting soil, cocoa coir, or a seed mat. You don't really need to put any fertilizer on the soil. If you want, you can put, you know, you can put extra. This is what people do. They also have azomite that you can put for extra nutrients. It's a powder. So the method with microgreens is you have this is like a 1-inch shallow tray. You can do it in a bigger tray, but this is the easiest. You don't need so much soil. You only need like a 1-inch soil. So you put the soil in your tray. Then you water the soil. and pat it down. So you want it as flat as possible. Then you're going to spray your seeds out on the soil very close together. So it's not like you're planting like one seed there, you know, it's everything needs to touch each other. And after you put the seeds on the soil, then you take a spray bottle and wet the seeds on the top. Okay. The next method is you need to kind of, they call it blackout. So you put a third tray on the top. Okay, it's easier to show it. Okay, you put a third tray on the top, and on top of that tray you put weights. So you have 3 trays. You have the bottom tray for the drainage. Can you see that? Yeah. So you have the bottom tray, that's a drainage tray. Then you have the tray which have holes inside and 1 inch of soil. And then you have the third tray. So then you have the third tray, which you put on the top, and on the top of that comes weights. So what I use at home is I have several of these sardine cans, and I put like 1, 2, 3, about 6, 7, 8. I put about 8 of these weights on the top. And the reason why we put weights is to give the seeds something to push up from, so that the roots can go to the bottom. If they don't have a weight, it's not easy for them to grow up. Yeah, and it's really amazing. These seed plants are so strong. Even with 8 of these, you know, weights on them, they push this all up. So usually when I see the sprouts coming out on the sides, then I remove the weights. But in reality, if you keep the weights on there, you can experiment. It will lift it all, the whole thing. It will lift up. The first few times I did that, and it's like, wow, that's amazing. It's so strong. Okay. So then in winter time, if you want to hasten the whole process, you can use a seed heating mat to put underneath. It will still grow, even in winter, it will still grow without this, but it will go a little faster. In summer, I never use this, so. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this one. This is just a small example of, this is for our family of, 6 people. It's a 10 by 20 tray. And so if you don't have as many people, you can find any small container. This is again a container from, there was some cherries or something in here. You get a small container like this, you put holes underneath, and again the same thing. You have 3. You put it here for the water, to catch the water, you have 1. And then you're going to put another container or something else on the top. I had a 3rd container like this, and then I put the spaghetti sauce in there as a weight. And it pushes it all completely up with this little few seeds. It's just like quite amazing. So, okay.
Which ones did you say were, you said the water method versus the microgreens? Which one is more crunchy?
The water method. And the microgreens is just like, you know, the same like the leafy greens, the same soft texture. Yeah.
You can see when you
So, okay. So troubleshooting, I have a, sorry. So growing between, you know, during winter time and summertime is a little different. In summer it grows faster. Also you might, when the microgreens start popping out of the soil, you might think that you have white mold, but it's not. It can be just the root hair. So you could see some whiteness, but that's the hair. So don't throw it away. Just wait and see what happens, because often that disappears and then you see the whole, you know, the plant sprouting. Of course, when it's black or blue or something, then that's obvious. Also, overwatering can cause issues. So once they sprout, like this, okay, this is 5 days old. I have not watered it since I sowed it. And I still don't need to water it because I can feel that it's heavy. Okay, so if you overwater, then of course it can create mold. So you have to be very careful. If I don't water this, what's going to happen is the little sprouts is going to fall flat. It's going to just, you know, like you can see, it's going to become droopy. Then you know, oh, okay, it's time to water. Sometimes I forget to water. It's like, oh my gosh, I need to water. Then you give the water and it comes right straight back up again. It's just, yeah, be very careful of overwatering. What else? In case you do get some mold, you can put a light solution of peroxide with water or even chamomile tea and spray that on, and that could take care of that. The other thing is you could put a fan, because if there are molds everywhere, then could be air circulation. There's not enough air circulation there, or the sprouts, the seeds were planted too closely, too densely. So that's, you learn like that. So next time, so it's good to record. It's good to record how much you put in there. So you know next time, oh, that was too much, so then you put less, you know. Okay. Could also be if your seeds are not growing, then you could have old seeds, or could be, yeah, something wrong with the seeds. I one time bought pea seeds and from a company, and I tried 2-3 times for it to grow. It didn't grow, so I thought that's something wrong with the seeds. And then you know, they refunded me, because if you do everything right and it's not growing, it's either old or there's some, you know, something's not it was sprayed or something, or you know, something like that. Okay. So
how old is old?
oh, that's a good question. You know, some seeds can, it also depends which kind of seed. Some seeds can last very long, and some have a very short lifespan. Yeah.
How long is that long? Year, 2?
Yeah, so how long? I would, even if you have seeds that's 2 years old, of course you can try that to sprout it. Yeah. So you know, like for my family, I order this. This is a 5-pound bag of broccoli seeds, because I think you know, if you look at the health benefits of broccoli seeds, it's just superior. So this is I get a 5-pound bag, and even in, I don't know, even if we have it for, it goes pretty fast, you know. But I would say for 2 years you could still use it. You're going to see if it's not growing anymore, then you know it's too old. So let me talk about the
Where
health.
did you buy the seed?
Oh, that's from Azure. What's it? Azure Standard. Have you heard of the company?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have very good prices on bulk items. So if you buy this in 5 pounds, then the price is it's like $10 per pound. And usually if you go on Amazon or you look up for broccoli seeds, organic broccoli seeds, it can be from $15 to $30 for 1 pound. So that's quite steep. But from Azure it's like, you know, $10 to $12 a pound. But then you need to buy the big bag, the 5-pound bag. You can even get more than 5 pounds. So broccoli sprouts, it has an incredible rich source of sulforaphane, which protects against cancer. It benefits the heart, protects the brain. It supports natural detoxification, and it helps with diabetes. So it supports every organ of the body. So that's why we just love the broccoli sprouts. You put it on everything. Basically, whatever you eat, you should put some greens on there. So, yeah. Okay. I think that's about it. Let's see here. Oh yeah, so here one last thing. There's kind of like 5 categories of I would say things that you can sprout or might do microgreens. And the first category I call it like a super nutritious or superfood category, which is the broccoli seeds, sunflower seeds, pea shoots, and wheatgrass. And
That's all one?
what is that?
Is that all like in one?
No,
mixed
that's
together?
that's separate. I mean, just the broccoli seeds. You can sprout sunflower seeds. So with sunflower seeds, if you want to do it in the water method, then you need to get the sunflowers that is without the shell. So it's usually seeds need the shell, the outside the shell to sprout, but sunflowers you can sprout without the shell. So then if you do the water method, you're doing it without the shell, so it's easy to eat. If you make a microgreen with the sun, then you use like I think it's called the black, what is it, the black oil sunflower seeds or something. But anyway, it has the shell on, not the shell that is like striped. It's with a black shell. And the other very super food is pea shoots, and then wheatgrass. So if anyone who has a health condition, wheatgrass is excellent, but a little bit different. You don't eat the grass. The wheatgrass is from wheat berries. You know, when you make flour, bread. So that's the same kind of berry. You get the one that is, you know, with everything on, the hull, everything. And you're going to sprout that in the soil, or, and that's what I wanted to show you, especially with wheatgrass, you can use, this is like a biodegradable wood fiber mat. It's kind of a little pricey. I don't know exactly how much it is, but I bought one set to try it out. It works very well because this is like a pulp. Once it gets wet, it becomes like like a pulp, and the seeds can grow from here. And then you can put it in your compost bin afterwards. You don't need that. You can grow it in soil, but with wheatgrass, you don't eat it. You cut it off and you juice it, and you drink that. But it's so strong, so you drink a very little shot, or you can drink it with some apple juice or something at the beginning. You do need a special juicer. You cannot just get normal juicer. You need the juicer that is it's like it's a grinding juicer. Yeah. Okay, and then I said it's 5 categories. I call it the superfood category. Then the second one is a leafy green sprouts or microgreens. That's good like for salads, and that is like alfalfa, radish, clover, fenugreek, and all of these seeds. They all have the different health benefits. Like fenugreek, amazingly, I read up that if you are nursing, that it helps with the milk production. So it's like, wow. Okay, and then the third category is the sprouted legumes, which is on all the beans, the lentils, garbanzo beans, mung beans. There are 2 beans that you need to cook after you sprout, and that's the black beans and the pinto beans. So you're not supposed to eat that. You sprout it, so the benefits, the anti-nutrients are taken away, and then afterwards you cook that. And then the 4th category is the sprouted grains, which is like amaranth, spelt, quinoa, teff, millet, even rice. So you're not really going to eat the rice after it sprouts like raw. Brown rice, to make it more bioavailable, you sprout it and then you cook it. And then the last category is sprouted nuts and seeds, and also like when you sprout nuts, it's not going to sprout like a garbanzo bean where you can see this whole little, what do you call that, stem coming out. If you soak, for example, almonds, you're not going to see something like a sprout coming out, but you know that it's soaked, and you know that the anti-nutrients are released. Interesting story is we have one of our family members from Switzerland came to visit, and she's like slightly allergic to almonds. And so when she came, I told her I soaked the almonds and so on, and she tasted it and she said it was so good, it didn't affect her at all. And I think it's because it was soaked and sprouted. They call it sprouted, so we always soak our almonds or any nuts. Yeah. So that's about it. I don't know, let's see.
If you did like this video, remember to check out one of my other videos up here, and I'll see you in the next one.